Hi everyone, welcome to SynyegaTV with me, Rich Gibbons.
And me, Stephen Old.
And today we're talking about a tale of two conferences.
Well done. I almost just fell over there as well. People are going to see that. Well done. I even when I was just typing out the episode, I wrote cities.
Yeah, I think feel free, play along at home, have a guess how many times we say cities instead of conferences, and send your answers in on the back of a postcard. So the two conferences in question are ITAM Review's Wisdom EMEA and the FinOps Foundation's FinOps X. So we are respectively, I'm going to the ITAM conference, SteveO's going to the FinOps conference. So we're going to kind of talk you through them, tell you what we're excited about, and yeah, show you what we're going to be doing over the next week or so.
Real shame at the same time, isn't it? Because I was actually looking forward to speaking on sustainability at Wisdom, but I have to go to San Diego. I mean, how dreadful!
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, maybe next year.
So I've never been to Wisdom. What actually is it?
It's a great question, to be fair. So the ITAM Review have been doing conferences for probably nearly 10 years now, and the Wisdom series, there's a Wisdom North America, Wisdom EMEA, and Wisdom APAC. So they're the kind of the flagship conferences in each region, and it's a couple of days of primarily ITAM end users. So the focus is always on it being end users. And you know, they get together. There are workshops, panel sessions, interactive round tables, and it's a place for everyone in the ITAM industry to find out partly, you know, what's hot, what are the latest, you know, happenings in the world of ITAM, but also for people that are, you know, maybe new to the industry. There's content around, you know, the fundamentals, getting started, choosing tools, and the networking aspect. I think, as probably with most conferences, you know, it is fantastic. You know, sometimes it's the person that you meet when you're queuing for a cup of coffee or a bagel or something. That's the kind of the gem from the conference. But yeah, so yeah, ITAM Review Wisdom. I think probably the biggest in the UK, you know, maybe further afield, and yeah, great opportunity for everyone to come together, you know, end users, partners, sponsors, consultants, all a big mixing pot of ITAM knowledge, really.
I mean, I think people sometimes forget like the importance of networking. Me and Tony, who's the founder of Synyega, met because we both gave talks at a conference and then got chatting afterwards. You know, a lot of my my kind of development and stuff has come out of meeting people and speaking to them at these kind of events who are like true experts in certain fields, because they're, you know, in the same way as FinOps is ITAM is too big to know everything, right? We talked about that on the What is ITAM video, and so there's always going to be someone that knows more than you about a subject, you know, probably because there's just so many subjects to cover, and I think it's a great chance to do that. So what specifically are you looking forward to at Wisdom this year?
Oh, that's quite a question. Yeah, I was looking through the agenda not that long ago, and I think one of the great things, there are so many different topics being spoken about. You know, sometimes conferences end up being a little bit one-dimensional, but this, you know, there are people talking about, you know, open source software, audits, but different kinds of audits rather than the big general tier one vendors. There are end users talking about green IT, how they've been doing it within their organization, how to build an ITAM roadmap, things like machine learning, mergers and acquisitions, different types of ITAM approaches to how do you work with a tool, without a tool, How do you manage sustainability data? I think for me, the biggest problem will be it's going to be literally impossible for me to go and see
everything. Yeah,
you know, they're overlapping, they're at the same times. But I think it's really nice to see so many of the sessions are from ITAM practitioners, you know, who are doing this day in, day out on the coal face. So I think that will be great. But also, you know, it's a fantastic opportunity to meet people. You know, there are some people that you kind of consider friends, but you only see them once a year at the conference. So that side will be great. Meeting new people, and you know, obviously sharing all the great stuff that we do at Synyega, and seeing how we can help people achieve some of these goals. So yeah, I'm very excited about it, to be honest.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a nice group of people generally, isn't it? I think ITAM. It's in the same way. You know, I'm not saying FinOps isn't. I love people in FinOps, but it is. You know, the people I've met have always been lovely. So it'd be a nice group. How many people go?
So I think this year it's a third. It's 250, I think, something around there. Don't quote me on that, but it's that kind of number. So it's kind of, you know, it's big. It's big enough to be big, but it's small enough that you can still talk to everyone you want to talk to. So it's quite a nice size, I think.
I went to the AWS Summit this year, which I actually thought was much more manageable than last year in terms of numbers. But I mean, in some ways, just randomly, I did just bump into people that I knew, but it's just so huge, so many people now. You know, London summits, you know, I think there's tens of thousands, and it's just unmanageable, really. But yeah, 250 is a nice number.
Yeah, I think the last Microsoft conference I went to, because they combined their partner and their internal, I think there was about 50,000 people altogether, which, you know, literally the size of a town in England, at least.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think ITAM reviews, Wisdom, you know, it will be great. You know, whether people have been there every year, this is the first year. Yeah, just looking forward to getting there, and I'll, you know, I'll be speaking as usual. So, you know, talking about Microsoft, talking about ITAM and FinOps. So I'm looking forward to seeing who comes to my sessions as well.
What's the layouts of the days? Because it's over a few days, isn't it?
Yeah, so the first day is, well, there's a kind of a pre-day, which is the training day, where I'll be in my Microsoft training. Then day one, full day sessions, workshops, panels, networking in the evening, and then day two is again more of the same, but with a slightly earlier finish, so that everyone can get back home. And then end user panel day one, sponsor panel day two. So yeah, it's a nice layout.
Fantastic.
So I mean that's me. So that is so the Wisdom conference proper is Tuesday and Wednesday. So the 18th and 19th of June. So while I'm in the sunny Wembley area, as you've mentioned, you've got the misfortune of having to go to California. So you're going for the FinOps X conference. So for people that aren't familiar with it, what's that all about?
Well, so yeah, FinOps X is the only really international FinOps conference that happens until this year, where there's going to be two. It's the third year. The first year was held in Austin. The second year last year was held in San Diego, exactly where we're holding it again this year. And then also this year in November time, we've got FinOps XE, which is going to be in Barcelona, which I'm really looking forward to. FinOps X is run by the FinOps Foundation. It is sponsored by, you know, partners and members, and they, you know, some stand with that. I think it's going to be around 2,000 people this year. I think it's absolutely massive. Last year was like 1,500 people. XE is looking at like 800 people. You know, so they're big events. You know, FinOps is new and shiny, isn't it? Right. So people still get to do these things. It's run over kind of 2.5 days. You could argue maybe 3. So you've got Wednesday you can register, and then there's a couple of events in the evenings, but no kind of talks or anything. There's like a welcome reception area, and people. That's generally where you get to see everyone, because it's people coming in dribs and drabs, and you can grab people. So main keynotes on Thursday. Loads of talks and chalk talks. So we have 2 types of talks: one where you kind of go in and listen to someone speak, and one which is really interactive. Then on the Thursday night, there is the party. Last time it was after the second day. This year it's after the first day, because it's on the Midway aircraft carrier. So it's about when they could book that. Yeah. So that's massive. It was on there last year. It was brilliant. Very windy, but it's absolutely brilliant. So we've got that again this year. So that's on the Thursday. Then the Friday, we have talks again in the morning, like keynotes. And I'm trying to remember which way around it is. It's on the Friday that the cloud vendors will be doing some direct announcements about FinOps.
Right.
On the Friday keynote. So so people can't get too hammered on the Thursday, because it's like, I don't know, it's maybe going to be about 9 a.m. ish by the time that they come on in the keynote, and then goes until about 7 p.m. on the Friday, something like that. Well, no, so it's networking. So about 5 on the Friday. However, there is like a breakfast for people who are still around on the Saturday morning.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I don't know if you have to be any particular person. That. So yeah, it's over, because you kind of got registration into the breakfast. It's almost like it's over 3 days, but it's 2 days of hardcore content, and that's going to be special. And like you say, like, you go to somewhere where everyone understands your job. Like if I say to people, I do FinOps, they just kind of go, what? So it's one of my favorite weeks of the year. Just everyone you speak to understands what you do, all geeking out about the subject. So fantastic.
Yeah, it is nice to be surrounded by like-minded people, for sure.
Yeah.
So what are your kind of agenda highlights then?
Good question. So the announcements is going to be one. I've been warned that that's going to be very interesting. There are a few chalk talks I'm really interested in going to. So there's so many. I've got to kind of write them down, who are being run by some really cool people. So like there's one on managing the FinOps practice, which is being run by EA, Align, and TELUS. I think that's really interesting. But then cloud optimization beyond the obvious, that's run by Kate Ferguson at Liberty Mutual, who's fantastic. She's really active in the foundation, and I worked with her on the rate optimization run book, and she's brilliant. And then some from Brad Payne, who I don't know, from Point Click Care, and Jason Sagi from Iterable. So that's kind of like, you've done all your low-hanging fruit optimizations. What's the next stage? And that's kind of where I live, and I really enjoy that. So that's gonna be a fantastic talk. There is a really good, I think it's on day 1. I was about to say it's day 2. But they have like 3 different levels of courses: 100s, 200s, and 300s.
Yeah.
And there's a 300 called Making Cloud Sustainability Actionable with FinOps, which is being run by MasterCard.
Oh, that sounds good.
So super excited about that one. Unfortunately, as is always the case, there are other good talks on at the same time. Maximizing FinOps Education Impact, Insights from Walmart and the FinOps Foundation, which I'd have loved to have been on, with my friend Stacey Case doing that. But I think I've got to go to the sustainability one. That's the problem, especially if you're very active in the community and you know people. You're almost apologizing for not making it to their talks because one of your other friends is talking as well. So really looking forward to that. There's a unit economics one as well. And there was a really good one day 2. What was it that I really wanted to go to? There is a TAC panel, Technical Advisory Council panel, on the new FinOps framework, which I'm looking forward to. Last year I thought that was really good, and there's another one with all the updates on that. So yeah, just loads of cool stuff.
Awesome. Oh, they both sound jam-packed, really, don't they?
Yeah, it's going to be busy. It's going to be busy.
Yeah, I think maybe next year we'll have to get ourselves some assistants that we can send off to other talks. I suppose maybe AI can do that for us next year.
A lot of them are being recorded, but I think it depends on whether they're allowed to be recorded, based on who's delivering and stuff. So last year there were 2 incredible talks that I remember that really stick out. There's one on something called the Cost Optimization Index Score by Nationwide, the US organization, which was just brilliant. It was so clever in its simplicity, and it was fantastic. And then the last talk that I went to on the last day was run by a friend of mine called Ali Whitman, who I barely knew at the time, but blew my mind with this talk about what is a saving and the difference between savings and cost reductions. And it was brilliant. Only one of those two was recorded. Fortunately, Ali's was, because I send that to people all the time. Like, stop talking about, you know, savings as if it's anything every time you make a cost reduction. Because if you're still over budget, you haven't saved the company any money. You just waste it. You're just less over budget. That was kind of the concept, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. But the coin one, which I've also tried to speak to people about, there was no recording for. So it's like, oh, if you could watch this video, it would all make sense. So hopefully more of them will be recorded this year, and kind of go on YouTube, because that's absolutely brilliant at being able to kind of catch up, because there are going to be too many. The problem comes is chalk talks can't be recorded. So
right,
if you want to be in one of those, and there's several on at a time as well, so if you want to be in one of those, you've got to be there, and then you've got to therefore miss one of the other talks, and you've got to hope that it gets released later. It's a real balancing act, right? There are, I mean, let me have a look how many there are. There's 39 level 200s, 15 level 100 talk, 200, 300 talks. How many hundreds are there? And 800. So that's 39, 56. So there's over 60 talks to choose from across 2 days. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know at Wisdom there are some companies that will send, you know, 3, 4, 5 people, so they can they got the benefit to split out a little bit.
Yeah. With FinOps X, certainly from our point of view as a member and a vendor, we're limited to how many people we can send. So practitioners could send more people, but it is, I mean, I think it's also probably significantly more expensive. Like, I think the early bird tickets were like $700-800, and it goes up to, if you're a non-member, non-early bird, whatever, it's like $2,500 to go to FinOps X. Yeah. You know, it's very much aimed at practitioners and members, and so non-members who are consulting, or, you know, organizations of that sort, who aren't like just doing FinOps for themselves in an organization, but are consulting or tools or etc., who aren't members of the foundation. They have to pay a premium to come, and are limited to how many they can send. Barcelona is going to be even more so. Like, even as a member, we're limited to being able to send one person, because out of the interest out there, they have a concept that has to be over 60% practitioners, which I think is great. And so they've really got to, they look at their numbers and limit how many members can go. So yeah, that's just not an option for us here. But if you're a practitioner, that's got to be the way to go. But then you've got to be, spending some money to send 5-6 people to X.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar with Wisdom, that it's probably about that 60% mark again, maybe a little bit higher actually, of end users. And then consultants, there's a limited number, all that kind of thing. So the idea is, of course, consultants, partners, etc., have got plenty of valuable things to add, but the crux of it is, end users talking to end users and sharing war stories and that kind of thing. So yeah, it sounds like that they're both quite similar in many ways.
And the mindset, isn't it? Yeah,
I think it's probably another good representation of the ITAM FinOps. How similar they are in many ways. So our Tale of Two conferences, that because they're on at the same time, we've had the wonderful idea of trying to link both of our kind of video content together. So I think we worked out, I think Wisdom is finishing just as FinOps is starting.
Yeah, especially with the time zones, right? Exactly. So you finish as I am getting up in the morning to register.
Right. So I think in terms of content, there'll be some from me early in the week at Wisdom, what we're doing, what we're seeing, who we're talking to, and then we're gonna, sort of technology and time zones allowing, try and do a kind of live crossover, as you said, sort of passing the torch, and then you'll pick up the content for the rest of the week in San Diego.
And it's going to be a bit of a mix, right? Some of the stuff we might just record on our phones as we kind of go around, things we've seen, just talked about, drop that on YouTube straight away. That won't look as polished, but it'll kind of go into this folder of Tale of Two conferences. I said conferences. And then some of it, of our more detailed recaps will feel a bit more like this. It might only be one of us on the screen because you might be asleep, or I might be asleep while you're doing yours. But yes, it's going to be a bit of a mix, but it's going to be a series we're going to put out and I'm really interested and excited about it. To be honest, I've never done anything like it myself.
No, neither have I. And I think, you know, for people that can't go to either conference, I think it would be a great insight. But equally, you know, there's a growing number of people who would probably like to go to both of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and obviously budget is a consideration, etc. But this time it's also the kind of physical limitations of time and space, unfortunately, you know, have played a part. So if we can kind of help people experience both of them, that's the idea. And yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see, kind of look back and see what we picked out, you know, live, and then I would imagine we'll probably do a kind of wrap up, similar to this, but looking back.
When I'm back, I mean, so I leave San Diego on the Saturday and get back like afternoon of Sunday. So I'm going to do pieces, but maybe on the Tuesday we can. I'll be in States to be able to record.
Yeah, I think that sounds fair enough. I think having Monday to reacclimatise to the time zone at least seems reasonable. So I think, you know, if you're at either of the conferences, then assuming you see this before the conference is underway, feel free to come and find us, and you know, we'll jump on a video with us or whatever works. I think this could be quite an exciting little series.
I'll be sending you some stickers as well, actually. So there'll be some stickers for people who want to come and jump on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I haven't brought it down with me, but if we do any competitions, I've got some mugs with our faces on as well.
Have they arrived now?
They've arrived.
Oh, nice. That is, yeah. I mean, they are going to be, I think, possibly the hottest item this year.
It's quite only I've made 10 or 20 made.
Ooh,
wow. Yeah.
They're
exclusive.
You know, forget Taylor Swift conference merch. This is what people will be after.
Indeed. Right. Well, I'm very excited to do it, both the conference and the series. So thank you everyone for watching. Thanks, Rich, for doing this with me, because it's going to be a bit of an experience. And we'll speak to you and everyone else from San Diego next week.
Yeah. See you soon.